Welcome to Avella Vendela. In all my videos so far, at least at some point, I have sat in front of this background. And this video is the first video project I ever started for this channel. And in this video you will get to follow the process of how this studio was created. Let's get started. This area where we are building the studio is an underground storage area with 2 rooms. The first room was really full when we started this build, since it was winter and all the summer stuff like trampolines were currently stored here. The second room is what my dad has used as a building room or whatever you call them, but he very rarely uses it, and especially not the whole room. Therefore, it could be fitting to use half of it for this YouTube studio. So we, as in me and my dad, started with throwing away all the stuff that isn't needed and just trying to make more room. Today we're basically carrying stuff out to the car to go to the... what just... Today we're carrying stuff out to the car to go to the trash dumping place. And I managed to drop a box of pens on the floor. We did a couple of trips to the landfill or whatever you call it during this project, just getting rid of trash and making sure it's sorted properly and can be reused. Even after all of this, the room was not empty enough. What we decided to do next was to take some of that summer stuff that I talked about earlier and carry it to another place. Because of this, there was a lot more space in the first room, so we could place some of the things such as the table and the bigger pieces of wood in that first room. Next up was taking down this shelf that was used to store pieces of wood and then remount it above the window and store the pieces of wood there instead. At this point we had successfully moved stuff around so that the area where the studio was to be built was cleared up. The next step was to move the workbench just to open up the space even more. We still wanted to keep it since it could be useful if anyone needs to do something involving tools and stuff. So we just moved it from one wall to another wall and it made the entrance a bit more crammed, but it's fine. Also yes, we have a random toilet seat here. The next stage was to actually build the studio. We started with connecting the 2 pieces that would become the wall and then connect that to the actual wall. So kind of mounting a fake wall to a real wall. Next was the floor. We had some leftover floor laminate from over 10 years ago, and there was enough for us to be able to cover the area needed. Putting down the floor was kind of fun, and it was fairly easy since it didn't have to look perfect, and it sure does not look perfect. But it's a floor, and that's all that matters. At this point, the building was pretty much done. It took way less time than expected, and so far so good. My early ideas included a navy blue wallpaper and navy blue curtains, but then I started thinking about actually using a space wallpaper or even a Star Wars wallpaper. And obviously you've seen the final result, you know I ended up going with an actual Star Wars wallpaper. I made the wallpaper in Photoshop and I used the channel color scheme as a base, and I was trying out different options with starfields and even the Millennium Falcon. I ended up using the second Death Star in a starfield. I did this edit in a rush and I ended up making a pretty dumb mistake. Let me know if you can spot it. I'm pretty embarrassed by it, but you know, it's up on the wall, there's really nothing I can do about this anymore. Meanwhile, we waited for the wallpaper to arrive. We went to IKEA to get some curtains. I found ones that I thought would be a pretty good color match to the channel's theme colors. They looked way different in IKEA's lighting, so when we put them up in the studio they look pretty like navy blue almost, which wasn't the intended color, but you know, it's fine. We put up the curtains to check the length and how much they need to be shortened. The wallpaper arrived a couple of days after ordering it and it was time to put it up. It was really scary to get started and we were a bit worried that the pictures wouldn't line up correctly or that the wallpaper wouldn't stick to the wall. Somehow we were able to do a decent job. Some areas are a bit rough, but it could have gone way worse, so I'm happy with it. Next up, I had to start thinking about what else to add to the scene, but I wasn't sure what exactly I wanted in the background. Some practical lights would be ideal, but I wasn't sure yet how I was going to do that. We went to IKEA again. We got 2 more curtains, a chair and legs for a table. Yes. The 2 other curtains are placed to create kind of like a box around the studio place. Reason for this being to protect the studio from dust and stuff, and secondly helping to improve the sound quality by reducing echo. Then we assembled the chair and the table legs. I totally didn't do it wrong twice and nearly broke the whole table leg. We don't need to talk about that. And the next step was to take 2 planks of wood that were lying around and make them into the table. The wood was a bit too light, so we got some blue wood stain to make it look better. Then I went to my aunt to get some help with shortening the curtains. I had some ideas of what kind of practical lights would be nice, but for now I decided to go with some light curtains. It was surprisingly difficult to find a good product, but again, with the help of my dad, we managed to find a good quality product, at least, hopefully. That's all for the design part of the studio so far. I'm planning on adding more as we go, but I probably will not be making another video like this in a while, so if you're interested in seeing the evolution of the studio, then I would suggest you go and follow me on Instagram, where I probably will post some updates. So this is what it looks like right now. I am fairly happy with it. Of course there is always room for improvement, but so far I really like it and I think it came together pretty well.